Look at my face. All right, YouTube is a little behind, so I'm just gonna move it over there. All right. All right, good morning, goddesses. Welcome to Me Moments in the Morning. I'm here trying to multitask this morning. You know, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we got it together. We got it together. Good morning, Mountain Spirit.
Hey, good morning, Tracy, all the way from Belize, southern Belize, where the Black people are.
The Black folks is.
The beautiful Black folks, yes.
Yes, yes. I love it. And I can't tell you how much I just miss being there every day, every day. Okay, so this is Me Moments in the Morning. We have now extended it to a podcast. So for loving the podcast. And so for those of you who have been meeting us for Me Moments in the Morning over on Clubhouse, thank you. We will still be there shortly. But we wanted to extend what we were doing and just kind of share it with the world. So let's start by introducing ourselves. Mountain Spirit, will you start?
Hey, yes. I know all of you from the bottom of my heart. I could just feel it. Everyone who's here feels so familiar to me. This is Arzu Mountain Spirit, and I am here with you, body, mind, and spirit. Looking forward to everything.
Yes, yes. And I am Tracy King, now known as the Life Midwife, and you can just call me Trey. And every day I'm encouraging you to come slay with Trey. And this is just going to be something that's going to be really fun for us. Okay.
We're going to do girl
things. For all of us. We're going to do girl things. Yes. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. And I'm just so looking forward to this in the mornings. So today we wanted to kind of talk about, because as we are approaching the full moon, we're in the wake of it. So we wanted to start talking, well, we've been having conversations behind the scenes about the various moon phases and all of that. And so we wanted to start this conversation because it's something that we both, as well as our other co-hosts, which you'll meet tomorrow, but we wanted to start having this conversation. You know, what does it mean? What does it mean? You know, all of the different moon phases, what do they mean? And how do they affect us?
Yay. Yes. I know this is like the never-ending conversation, but every time we talk about it, it's the knowledge just gets richer, because the moon has it's more than an onion. It's got so many levels of wisdom. It's not just it's also entertainment, right? Because it's something to look at, or we can see in the sky, and it's a source of wonder. But it's also the source of particular harmony in our lives as human beings, right? We're affected by the light diffracted and reflected from the moon, which we see as the different phases of the moon. But those are just different levels of light, different levels of light reflection that affect us. Now, for those people who think that the moon doesn't affect them, like the scientists, right? They feel like, oh, there's no scientific evidence that the phases of the moon affect human beings. But when you consider that it affects all the water on planet Earth, the phases of the moon affect all the way, rain, rivers, oceans, everything. And you are how much percent water, right? Yeah. The human body, right? You're mostly water. Some people, it depends on what you're reading, 75 to 85% water. But the thing is, we're mostly water. So how is it possible that the phases of the moon can affect all the water on the planet and skip little old you?
Right.
When you got all that water in you, we're just bags of mostly water. So of course we're affected. It's just that people don't really know how. The moon has gotten a kind of a bad rap. But there was a time before electricity, I suppose, and before things were lit at night. That's all the light we had. So we had to have a deep relationship with the moon when it came, you know, the how it affected the climate. So we were very much in touch with how the moon affected us. Now, I grew up, I take it for granted, because I grew up knowing about the moon. It was just part of, I'm from a farming village, a grandmother and a great-grandmother very much connected to the moon. My great-grandmother was a midwife, like yourself, Miss Tracy, Goddess Tracy. So the moon was so extremely valuable to everything. It affected everything, all her decisions and everything she did. So I got that kind of training. However, I realized when people want to ask me more about the moon, my knowledge about the moon is very limited to what I received. I'm not saying it's limited, but it does have its limits because of that layer and layer after layer after layer of moon wisdom. Yeah. We're supposed to be constantly learning and constantly evolving. So I realized I had become really comfortable with my knowledge about the moon. So I wanted to challenge myself. And it was definitely a room where I want to grow. I want to know more about the moon. So I wanted to do this segment with a Slay with Trey, because this is where the conversations come up where we talk about the moon and the moon cycle. So right now, what we want to know right now, today, Wednesday, the 17th, November 17th, we are in a waxing gibbous moon. That's the position of the moon. And just to demystify it for you, what's a gibbous, Tracy? Do we know what the hell a gibbous is? Nobody know what a gibbous is.
I don't know what a gibbous is.
And when you think about waxing, usually it's come to mean taking hair off, like where you don't want it. So it's like both meanings. It's a term.
No sense. Right.
It makes no sense. Like a waxing gibbous, but let me demystify it for you. Waxing means getting bigger. When you're going towards something, right? You're waxing. You're becoming larger towards it. Waning, on the other hand, is becoming lesser away from it, right? So this moon, which is constant every month, we're pretty much in the same moon. It's called a waxing gibbous. Now, we know what waxing is. What the hell is a gibbous? A gibbous, if you imagine, actually it's a shape. It means when a circle stops becoming a circle and begins to oval, right? When you bring the sides, either side of a circle in, it begins to oval. Right? So that's the gibbous, and there are different stages of the gibbous, right? So it's either waxing or waning. So this waxing gibbous, it's a waxing towards the light. It's the dark of the moon taking on light and more light and more light and more light until it's completely full. So a waxing gibbous is those stages of the moon as it heads towards a full moon. Okay, now we know the physical, astrological.
So now you got me thinking about the movie Wax On, Wax Off, right? When you put the wax on,
right,
more and more.
Exactly.
And more. Yes.
Exactly. Okay. But with the Brazilian waxes and the mustache waxes and the facial waxes, you know, we it kind of almost programs us to see it as less, but it isn't. We really have to see it as more, right? Waxing on, exactly. So the waxing gibbous is the energy that you're coming away from the new moon, right? From the new beginnings, and you're going towards a full moon. So you're going towards completion.
Yes.
So what the moon is doing, it's becoming bigger and bigger and more defined each day. So that's where we can go into to harmonize with the energy of the moon and with what's going on with us. Because what's happening is everything about you that you're overlooking, everything about you that you're overlooking will be completely exposed at the full moon. So our job really is to select places in our lives that we want to work on. We, challenge ourselves so that as we're going from the new moon, which is where the determination is set, into the waxing towards the full moon, we begin to seal the deal, right?
Yes, yes.
We determine what we're going to do. The commitment is set. The wedding is definitely happening. That is the place where you put all the icing on the cake. So to back off during a waxing moon will affect you. It'll make it more difficult for you to accomplish the same goal somewhere else. It's a window that opens. The cycles and phases of the moon are windows that open for opportunity to do certain things that we as human beings can do in an almost magical way if we understand that we're mostly water.
We are.
We're mostly water. Where'd you go, goddess?
I'm here.
So what happens? What happens is after the full moon, then that's when we go into gratitude. That's when the gibbous begins to wane. So that's a waning gibbous. So we begin to go into manifestation. We begin to repeat the cycle again, and now we go to the next level of our own lives. So if we're using our own lives, we can use the moon as a way of determining, following, and measuring self-transformation.
Yes, what we're doing, when we're doing it, how we're doing it. Yeah, I love it.
But I wanted to also cover lunacy because that comes up, right? Mm-hmm. Lunatic, it's all lunar, right? It all has to do with the moon. The thing with lunatic is that it just means you're moon sensitive, but they've taken on, the Westerners take everything that's sacred about us and corrupt it, right? So it's become to mean lunatic, but the word was lunatic. And what happened is when you started introducing these cultures that harbored all of these hostile ways of doing things, every time the moon was full, they would be in full manifestation. Mm-hmm. They would be able to suppress it, like they use the rest of the time to suppress it. But when the full moon comes out, there's no way of suppressing it. So that's how the word lunatic came about. It was just people who were already crazy exposing themselves fully.
Yes,
during the full moon, right? And in that same light, whatever it is we have inside, whatever we are truly made out of, mm-hmm. is what we get to see during the full moon. So we should really plan for it. Take a good look at ourselves and say, hey, these 28 days, I want to work with this piece. I want to polish this piece. So it's like a diamond, we're constantly polishing the different facets of our lives using the light of the moon.
Yes. I love that. I love that. And I'm so looking forward to growing and expanding and really coming to know the differences between all of the phases and how we can better use them mm-hmm. for ourselves, for advancing, our lives as individuals and collectively. I think that's going to be amazing. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that this morning.
It was just eating me up.
Yes. So we shall continue, and I want to share just a me moment message before we leave this morning. And definitely we'll be back here each morning, 5 a.m. PST. Yes, y'all, it's 5 o'clock for me, and 8 a.m. EST. Other time zones, I'm sorry, y'all have to do the math. I can't do it right now in my head.
Central America, 7 a.m.
7 a.m. See, there we go. So, dear sister, it's time to kick ass and fight like a goddess. Welcome to the grand stage where you reign supreme and preside over all things. Here, everything is possible, purposeful, and powerful. Here is where you dig your heels into the earth to slow the axial spinning of the nonsensical in order to prepare for the relaunch of the intentional. Dwell in this place a while. Inhale the magic of self-love's oxygen and exhale all that has ever held you back. Breathe deeply, for you will require good energy, goddess energy for the rebirth of you as the sole proprietor of this life. Oh yeah, this is the place of your rebirth, the rebirth of a new you with a renewed vision, a rebirthed you in a revised world where self-love is your theme and basis for living the rest of your life out loud and on purpose. On the other side of your now, self-love awaits you. Your slay awaits you. And I thank you all for joining us this morning. And we look forward to seeing you each and every morning right back here. Me Moments in the Morning. Thank you for coming to Slay with Trey and Mountain Spirit today. And we look forward to seeing you again. Bye-bye. Mwah.